Who can touch the bottom? Such a phrase can often be heard among our children frolicking on the shores of rivers or playing on the coasts of our seas and oceans. However, childhood passes, and as certain of us grow into adulthood, we aim for more ambitious goals, some to conquer the highest peaks of the globe, while others seek to plumb the farthest depths, to literally touch the bottom of our Earth's waters. Only later in 1996 did the New York Times finally publish a story about the shocking event. Maybe the scientists and the U.S. Navy have been hiding something important from us all of these years. Or did a serious, authoritative publication suddenly decide to hype up a fictitious story to sell newspapers? It hardly seems possible. And believe it or not, there's another confirmation of the presence of a mysterious creature in the deepest part of our world ocean. German researchers lowered the bathyscaphe hayfish to the bottom of the Mariana Trench on a mission to observe the inhabitants of the Challenger abyss. What they saw shocked the entire team. On their monitors, scientists saw a gargantuan, monstrous lizard creature. Frightened, they turned on their so-called electric gun, which electrifies the area outside the craft. Thankfully, this made the frightening monster swim away. But we must ask, who or what is this mysterious inhabitant of the sea depths, and what kind of a danger is it to us? While you're writing your assumptions in the comments, let's go 48 years earlier, long before the first expedition. In 1918, Australian lobster catchers claimed that they had repeatedly seen a giant fish-like creature more than 30 meters or 100 feet long. According to all of their descriptions, the monster resembled a shark weighing approximately 100 tons, equipped with huge 2-meter or 6.5-foot jaws, and with 10-centimeter or 4-inch long teeth. This could be nothing other than Megalodon, a giant shark thought to be extinct, which inhabited the waters of the world ocean more than 2 million years ago. This monster is larger than any marine creature that has ever existed. So, is a miracle animal just hiding in the watery depths and just biding its time? Why not? After all, during the entire study of the animal kingdom of the Mariana Trench, numerous oddities have been revealed. Just look at the local amoebas, for example, the simplest single-celled animals. Many of us, often from grammar school lessons in biology, have learned that these minuscule representatives of the wild kingdom can be seen only with the help of a microscope. But not at the deepest point of our world ocean. Amoeba here can reach an amazing 10 centimeters or 4 inches in size, the same as the size of Megalodon's tooth. Not to mention that there are 1.5 meter or 5-foot long worms and bizarre mutant octopuses. It seems that the deeper we manage to take pictures of living creatures on our Earth, the more bizarre the forms they exhibit. In addition, the bottom of the Mariana Trench contains another inexplicable mystery. Mammoth stone bridges discovered there that are as long as 69 kilometers and look as if they are designed by man. Is this proof that Atlantis, which, according to myths, disappeared beneath the water, actually existed? Alas, no. The real explanation is more than trivial. It's all about the collision of the Pacific and Philippine tectonic plates. As a result, researchers of the sea depths receive great pleasure observing this amazing phenomenon. But this is not the only thing the giant crevice in the ocean bottom can impress us with. If you previously doubted whether there's life at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, it is now known that the Challenger abyss is filled with life itself, or rather, what remains of it. The fact is that under normal conditions, the seabed is not that interesting. But in the case of the Challenger Deep, it is covered with a massive layer of corpses as the remains of once living organisms roll down to the deepest place on Earth. On the way to the abyss, dead fish and mollusks pass perhaps what is the most interesting feature of the deep sea landscape, an analog of which can be found only on one of our satellites of Jupiter, Io. It's a lake of pure molten sulfur, heated by the underwater volcano called Daikoku. Yes, this bloody hollow is a true hell on Earth. In describing the 9 circles of hell, Dante might have been representing this place. On the way to the bottom, you first pass the giant reptiles and single-celled creatures. Then one finds oneself in the sulfur fires of Gehenna. Then finally one comes to rest and begins to decompose in a massive layer of dead sea life. As to the existence of giant reptilian monsters or megalodons, James Cameron does not support this point of view. And his opinion is quite influential, as the director who gave the wonderful film Titanic to the women of the world and Terminator to the men. He is the third and so far latest researcher to reach the bottom of the Mariana Trench. In the Challenger Deep, James spent much more time than his predecessors, almost 3 hours. Unfortunately, he did not find any super creatures during this time, but he did manage to film enough material for a couple of documentary films with enough left over to write in Twitter. So if Cameron disappointed with the absence of monsters found in the Mariana Trench, and your assumptions about their existence are already written in the comments, here is more food for thought. Why does one need to explore this place that has been visited by only 3 people, in addition to several deep-sea diving vessels? In fact, studying this mysterious place has saved everyone from bathing in radioactive water. The truth is, earlier last century, human beings planned to bury nuclear waste at the very bottom of the Mariana Trench, believing that the water there was in a state of eternal stagnation, and so all the nuclear waste produced on Earth could be stored there for millions of years. However, studies have shown that even at the bottom of the trench, the currents are so strong that every corner of the world ocean would have been contaminated with uranium, plutonium, and other radioactive elements if such a plan had been put into effect. Interestingly, when scientists were measuring underwater currents in the Challenger Deep, they found an unremarkably average and most common supermarket plastic bag. I would like to believe that it was lost by an inhabitant of Atlantis on his way to his local supermarket. But in fact, this once again proves how polluted the world ocean has become, and that every abandoned piece of garbage tossed in the water can find its way to almost any point on the globe. Perhaps then it wasn't bizarre monsters, but the scale of ocean pollution that actually frightened all the previous expeditions.